Hello everybody, December48 here, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. Today we are continuing on the Legends timeline. We have Clone Wars Wild Space, a novel by Karen Miller. It takes place in 22 BBY, which is where we've been for a good while. Chapter 1. We begin with Yoda leaving Mace Windu on Geonosis in Episode 2 to clean up the bodies of the fallen Jedi. Yoda knows his hardest work, protecting the Republic, will begin when he makes his return to Coruscant. Padmé wanted to see Anakin, who was being treated for his injuries. Jedi healer Vakara Che would not let Padmé see Anakin. Obi-Wan, also suffering from his injuries, convinced Padmé to leave before Yoda arrived to avoid unwanted complications. She reluctantly left the temple. Yoda, upon his return to Coruscant, headed directly to Palpatine's office. Outside of the office, he was met by Senator Bail Organa of Alderaan, who gave his condolences to Yoda and the Jedi Order for the lives lost. After a short time, Mas Amedda admitted them in to see Palpatine. Chapter 2. Palpatine wants Organa to start a Republic Security Committee with 3 or 4 other senators he trusts. Palpatine also wants Yoda and the Jedi Council members to be a part of a war committee to help bring this conflict to a quick end. Palpatine, towards the end of the meeting, did say that the Jedi are never far from his plans. Yoda, upon his return to the Jedi Temple, got an update on the injured from Vakara Che. Anakin is still in a healing trance, recovering from him receiving a prosthetic hand. She also let Yoda know about her confrontation with Padmé. Yoda spoke with Obi-Wan, telling him what he felt in the Force in regards to Anakin and his mother. Yoda also revealed that Anakin had feelings for Padmé, which Obi-Wan already knew. Yoda instructed Obi-Wan to go speak with Padmé and end the relationship. Obi-Wan said it would not be so straightforward, as it was a part of the Senator's private life. Yoda said that there is no private life when a Jedi is involved, and Padmé's feelings do not matter. Chapter 3. Obi-Wan told Padmé that she had to end the relationship with Anakin. After a long and reluctant conversation, Padmé agreed, knowing that she would not actually do that. She asked Obi-Wan to let Anakin escort her home when she would end the relationship with him in private. Now, my complaint with this conversation is it strips a lot of the character development we see in Padmé in Episode 2, and says none of this was actually her making up her mind. It just feels like Padmé never felt conflict at all, making everything she says to Anakin in private on Naboo a bit false. So far, not buying the reasoning in this Legends book. I do want to add that it was well written and the emotion is done very well. I just don't like that it takes the emotion, thoughts, and choice out of Padmé's mind and into Yoda and Obi-Wan. Anakin yelled at Obi-Wan, blaming him for Shmi's death. Anakin then remembered Geonosis and began to cry. Obi-Wan held him in comfort. Chapter 4. Time moves to after the Battle of Christophsis. Obi-Wan watched as Anakin trained Ahsoka. Anakin and Obi-Wan spoke briefly before dueling as Ahsoka watched. Many others gathered to watch Obi-Wan and Anakin duel. After they were done, Anakin gave Ahsoka her homework assignment for the night and excused himself, saying he will collect her the following day. Bail Organa, Palpatine, and Padmé spoke shortly after the day's Senate session. Padmé then hurried away, saying she was late for something. Chapter 5. Dex has told Obi-Wan that Grievous is planning on capturing Batho-Wee, a crucial planet for Republic intelligence. Dex does not have much more information than that, but said he trusts his source, as they risked a lot to tell him even that much. As Obi-Wan flew back to the Jedi Temple, explosions happened, causing him to crash. Chapter 6. After a night with Padmé, Anakin felt a disturbance in the Force as Obi-Wan was injured. The couple saw the smoke from the attack in the distance. Anakin went and found Obi-Wan badly injured on a roof. He called the temple and asked for assistance from Yoda. Obi-Wan told Anakin the news Dex had told him. Yoda soon arrived with 3 healers just after Obi-Wan had passed out. Yoda told Anakin, who was crying, that Obi-Wan would not die from this, as he still has more purpose in the Force. Anakin then told Yoda the news of Batho-Wee, and Yoda needs Anakin to drive him back to the temple and ignore the speed laws. Palpatine spoke with Dooku about the success of the attack. Mas Amedda informed Palpatine of Obi-Wan's injuries. Sidious could feel the grief and anger Anakin was feeling and was even more pleased with the attack. Anakin returned with Yoda and reported what Obi-Wan had told him to the Jedi Council. He was then excused, and Yoda said to let the healer Vakara Che know that he would come talk with her about Obi-Wan's condition when he is able. Ahsoka caught up with Anakin as he left the council meeting. Anakin was sour with her at first, but backtracked when he realized he made her feel bad. He told her that he was scared for Obi-Wan and would like some company while he waited for Obi-Wan to heal. Chapter 7. Palpatine has taken Padmé and Bail on a tour of the bomb sites. Palpatine wants them to support his initiative to assure an attack like this never happens again. Padmé and Bail do not like what he has proposed, but Bail said it is the lesser of two evils, as he would rather spy on the people of Coruscant instead of letting more die. Yoda and Mace Windu think the only Jedi able to command the defense of Botha-Wi is Anakin. Mace Windu did not fully agree with Yoda, but trusts his judgment. Before finalizing his decision, Yoda is going to visit Obi-Wan. Chapter 8. After a little convincing, Obi-Wan agreed with Yoda that Anakin was ready to lead a battle group against Grievous. Yoda reported to Palpatine, informing him of Anakin's new mission to Botha-Wi. Palpatine was surprised and disappointed that the Jedi are pitting Anakin and Grievous against one another. Sidious wants to eliminate Obi-Wan, as it will help him manipulate Anakin even more, and eliminate Bail Organa, as that is a friendship Sidious no longer wants Padmé to have. Anakin was able to meet with Obi-Wan, who told him of his new mission. Anakin thought that Obi-Wan did not trust him, and they argued briefly until Obi-Wan passed out from the exhaustion. Vakara Che came back in and helped Obi-Wan, who told Anakin to never doubt the trust he had in him. Anakin apologized and said he had more to learn from Obi-Wan, and he was grateful for his teachings. Anakin is to meet with the Jedi Council in the morning. He will be able to have Rex and the 501st join him on the mission. Obi-Wan had broken multiple bones and punctured a couple of lungs, as well as suffer a concussion in his crash. Chapter 9. Anakin brought Ahsoka to the Jedi Archives, where he had her research everything about Botha-Wi. Anakin then went to visit Padmé, telling her about his mission and updating her on Obi-Wan's health. Anakin, Ahsoka, Rex, and Admiral Yularen board the Resolute and begin their journey from Coruscant to Botha-Wi. Bail Organa made it home, exhausted in the early morning. He watched a message from his wife Briha, giving Bail some encouragement. He fell asleep shortly after, but was woken up by his secret comlink ringing. It is unclear who knows about this communicator, but Briha does not. Chapter 10. Bail got an encoded message, and once he decoded it, Bail called Padmé and set up a meeting to discuss the new, very important information. Bail came to Padmé's apartment, telling her that his contact told him that the Sith, a group he had never heard of, was planning a devastating attack against the Jedi. Now, at this point, I thought it was common knowledge in the universe that the Sith were a thing. Padmé, following up on promises of secrecy made to both Yoda and Obi-Wan in the past, said she had never heard of the Sith either. Padmé called the Jedi Temple and asked for Obi-Wan. He came thinking Anakin had called her, but was still interested when Padmé informed Obi-Wan of Bail's message. Bail explained that the group that sent him the information are the Friends of the Republic. They helped him with internal affairs on Alderaan over 5 years ago, and have given him accurate, up-to-date, secret updates during the Clone Wars to show continued proof of their accuracy. Chapter 11. Obi-Wan revealed to Organa that the Sith are real. After a heated discussion between the trio, they have agreed to let Obi-Wan discuss Organa's information with the Jedi Council and not discuss the matter outside of the group. Obi-Wan joined a battle report with Mace Windu, Yoda, and Anakin via hologram. Bail departed from Padmé's residence, unsure of what kind of relationship Obi-Wan and Padmé have with each other. He could tell that they were more than just political acquaintances. After a long day of work and worry, Bail returned home and slept, awoken again by the secret communicator. Bail called the Jedi Temple looking for Obi-Wan. The person who answered said that Obi-Wan was not available, but will relay his message requesting a meeting. Obi-Wan updated Anakin, who was wondering why Grievous was not attacking Botha-Wi, where Anakin's battle group recently arrived. Grievous and his fleet picked up reinforcements and wiped out the Jedi battle group protecting Faline. Grievous is now headed straight for Anakin, who is now heavily outnumbered but unwilling to stand down. Yoda and Mace Windu are heading to Palpatine's office to update him on the war. Tassili, a young Jedi, alerted Obi-Wan of Bail's wish to meet. Obi-Wan left the temple, heading for Organa's residence. Chapter 12. Organa revealed to Obi-Wan that his contact wants to meet with Bail and a Jedi, which Bail has chosen Obi-Wan. They gave coordinates on the way to a planet called Zagula, which neither the Jedi Temple archives or Dex had any information on. Obi-Wan consulted with Yoda as he does not want to endanger Organa in a possible Sith trap, but Yoda has approved the mission as it seems the only way to stop an emerging Sith threat. After taking off from Coruscant, Bail contacted Briha and let her know of her cousin's death in the Falling battle group. He also let her know that he had off-world business to attend to and will not be in contact for a few days. Obi-Wan took a nap as they made their first jump to hyperspace. Obi-Wan dreams of Anakin's failure in the space battle against Grievous. Anakin, who had protected Bathory from Grievous but lost his starfighter, contacted Obi-Wan and informed him that R2-D2 had gone missing, with a complete memory of all the Republic's strategies and locations. Obi-Wan told him to find R2 in order to secure the information. Chapter 13. Bail and Obi-Wan debated a bit more, diving into Obi-Wan's dislike for politicians. Then they made the jump to their next set of coordinates. Obi-Wan and Bail continued discussing, less of a debate now. It seems like the pair may be getting along slightly better. They are going to play Sabacc for the remainder of their hyperspace journey. Chapter 14. Obi-Wan and Organa have made it to Atzeri. Their new set of coordinates will take them to Munto Qadru, an Outer Rim territory. Obi-Wan and Organa have made it to Munto Qadru. After 7.5 hours, Organa actually spoke with a woman on the communicator rather than just receiving a message. After talking, she sent them new coordinates, 9 parsecs away, and taking them into wild space. Obi-Wan and Organa have made it to a rundown space station near no planet. They have docked in secret as Obi-Wan sensed a possible danger and prepared to enter the space station. Chapter 15. Obi-Wan and Organa boarded the station, finding bodies immediately. When they made it to the command center, there was a battle. The woman that had called Organa was fighting men and droids. The attackers were Kalarba pirates from some other engagement the group had a previous mission with. The pirates' attack was unexpected. After the fight, Organa checked on his contact, Alinta, who was dying from her wounds. Obi-Wan checked the rest of the station and found no other survivors. Alinta gave them coordinates to Zagula, which is also in wild space. The planet is home to a Sith temple, which includes plans of an attack against the Jedi. There are no Sith living or stationed on Zagula. She also gave Organa the code to self-destruct the station to protect the secrets kept there. Organa activated the station's self-destruct after Alinta died, and Obi-Wan and Organa ran back to their ship. Obi-Wan is wary of continuing on to Zagula as he believes it is still likely to be a trap, but he and Organa will put in the coordinates for Zagula and make the journey into the unknown. Chapter 16. Obi-Wan and Bail argued again whether it was safe and smart for Bail to continue on this journey. Honestly, this debate has happened in multiple chapters and is getting very dull and repeated. The closer they got to Zagula, the bigger a headache Obi-Wan got. As they were descending to the surface, Obi-Wan collapsed and wanted Bail to turn around as he could feel the Sith. An invisible hand tore Bail out of the cockpit. Obi-Wan's eyes were bleeding and his face was pale. Obi-Wan got on the controls for a short time as the ship was going down before holding Bail in preparation for the crash landing into the planet's surface near where the Sith temple was supposed to be. Obi-Wan did try to kill Bail as his mind was taken over by the Sith. Chapter 17. Obi-Wan woke up from unconsciousness about an hour after the crash. Bail has started a fire outside as a way to set up camp. Obi-Wan can still feel the effects of the Sith in his mind. Obi-Wan and Bail argue after Bail discovers Obi-Wan knows more about the Sith than he had previously let on. After the argument, Obi-Wan got sick again from the effects of the Sith planet. The pair seem to be at a point where they can work together to continue their journey on Zagula. Bail has realized that Dooku must be a Sith and was not happy when Obi-Wan said they have to kill the Sith, not bring them to trial. Chapter 18. Anakin reported what upgrades he thinks the cruisers he was using could benefit from to Mace Windu and Yoda. They have allowed him to talk with the builders and compare his findings with theirs to best improve the ships. Yoda and Mace Windu would not give Anakin information about Obi-Wan's mission, just that they had received a communication recently that he is continuing to investigate. Anakin had a bad feeling about Obi-Wan's mission. Yoda did not reveal the fact that he, too, has the same feeling. Yoda is going to meditate to try and find Obi-Wan's whereabouts through the Force. Obi-Wan and Bail began their 3-day hike to the Sith temple. The Sith got through to Obi-Wan's mind again. A couple of hours into the hike, Obi-Wan began scratching at his face. Bail tried to get him to stop, which caused Obi-Wan to start punching Bail until he snapped back to reality. Obi-Wan healed Bail and told him the next time something like that happens, let the Sith attack run its course on Obi-Wan, or he could end up killing Bail. Chapter 19. Obi-Wan and Bail stopped to rest. Obi-Wan ignited his lightsaber, thinking Asajj Ventress was with them. He dueled the air for a while, then began attacking the forest, thinking the trees were droids. Then he charged at Bail and snapped out of his Sith-created hallucination, with his lightsaber hovering over Bail's neck. Obi-Wan apologized and handed Bail his lightsaber to keep both of them safe. They continued their hike as Obi-Wan will never get better until he is off the Sith planet. Obi-Wan and Bail have made it through a night in the forest and are now in a barren rock land, heading towards one more forest that they can see the temple behind. Obi-Wan is taken over by bad memories regularly, more so the closer they get to the temple. Bail just waits for the memory to pass, then offers Obi-Wan water before they continue their journey. The skies of Zagula quickly turned dark, not for night, but for a storm. Rain poured onto them. Bail drank some of the water. Then there was lightning, and the rain turned to hail. The duo was pelted with ice as lightning struck the rock around them for a short time. The storm ended as abruptly as it started. Obi-Wan revealed to Bail that he was trying to use the Force to keep them dry during the storm, but for the first time in 35 years, Obi-Wan cannot feel the Force. Then Obi-Wan got into his next memory, where he was trapped for the longest time yet. Bail just sat and watched, sad. Chapter 20. In the next morning, Bail scouted ahead as Obi-Wan was finally able to sleep. He found the temple, a 30-minute hike through another ring of forest, then a ravine down and up to the temple. Obi-Wan drank some of Bail's brandy, which helped muffle the Sith voices, but it did not stop the memories. After multiple memories slowed down Obi-Wan, he and Bail have made it to the ravine and began their descent. Sometime after passing the halfway point of the descent, Obi-Wan fell into another vision. Bail reached out for a grip and grabbed Obi-Wan to stop him from falling, but Bail was not able to keep his grip. Chapter 21. Bail got to Obi-Wan at the bottom of the ravine. Because of the immense pain Obi-Wan is in, his mind is too occupied with that to let the Sith in. Obi-Wan and Bail climb the ravine while Obi-Wan is still clear-headed, even if he has to punch his open wounds to keep his head clear. Obi-Wan and Bail climbed the ravine. Once in front of the temple, Obi-Wan lost the mental battle to the Sith and collapsed. Bail looked at Obi-Wan and he seemed empty inside. Bail entered the temple and explored the rooms for a while, trying to find something that could help their situation. When he couldn't determine anything's use, Bail went back outside to try to wake Obi-Wan again. Bail pinched at the recent wounds on Obi-Wan's knee, waking him up. Obi-Wan, still groggy and in immense pain, went into the temple. Once Obi-Wan walked through the doorway, the temple began to shake, not liking a Jedi entering. Obi-Wan found and destroyed a Sith holocron, a crystal that he knows was responsible for the mental attacks, and gathered another item. Chapter 22. Obi-Wan has taken a Sith telepathic crystal with him. It could send messages to others' minds, but the crystal was fighting him. Obi-Wan force-pushed Bail twice, then told Bail to lay his lightsaber while ignited over one of his wounds so he could think more clearly and send the coordinates to Yoda with the crystal. After 3 attempts, it worked. Bail was horrified with the amount of pain he was inflicting on Obi-Wan. Yoda told Mace Windu what he heard through the Force. Obi-Wan had warned to not send any other Jedi, as they would suffer the same struggle Obi-Wan has. Yoda is going to meet with a female, I'm guessing Padmé. Obi-Wan told Bail that he got through to Yoda, but the voices were still in his head, so Bail broke the crystal and the voices stopped. Obi-Wan was finally alone in his mind for the first time in days. Now that his mental could heal, Bail went to the medkit to heal Obi-Wan's physical wounds best he could. Padmé has agreed to Yoda's request to recover Bail and Obi-Wan from Zagula, saying she will always help the Jedi however and whenever they need her, as they have helped her many times in the past. Chapter 23. Captain Corbel and 5 other medic-trained clones met Padmé at her starship to join the journey. She had not realized that Bail and Obi-Wan were that badly damaged, but was glad to have the protection of the clones. Padmé and the clones made it to Zagula. Padmé was shocked by Bail's appearance. That was until she saw Obi-Wan, and she realized Bail was the one that got off lightly. After getting Bail and Obi-Wan on board, Padmé took off and put in the return coordinates for Coruscant. Yoda spoke with Obi-Wan a week after being in the Hall of Healing. After a short time, Yoda left him to rest and continue healing his mind. Over holo communicator, Obi-Wan gave Anakin and Ahsoka their new mission, finding a secret listening intelligence separatist base. Obi-Wan would not reveal anything about his mission he recently finished. Palpatine was shocked when he saw Organa back in the Senate lunchroom. He was angry because it was Dooku that was supposed to make sure everything went to plan and Zagula stayed safe and uncompromised. Instead, he is left with lost artifacts, a useless planet, and the two people he wanted dead, alive. And that is a wrap on Wild Space. It was a good book. It started off really slow, and there were some repetitive moments between Bail Organa and Obi-Wan during their journey, but once Bail and Obi-Wan made it to Zagula, this book got really good. It just unfortunately took a while to get to the intriguing parts. This was an enjoyable book and an interesting story that also explains why Bail and Obi-Wan become such good friends between episodes 2 and 3, which is an interesting part. They do become very good friends. You can see that they are in episode 3, and there's no real explanation to that. So this Legends book does a good job of covering that basis. Let me know your thoughts on Wild Space in the comments down below. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.